Hello and welcome to a VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica, and this show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is great to be coming back to you for episode number 171. Wow! It is July 22nd. 2020, and I want to say first and foremost, thank you for listening. I've had a lot of support, even though I took a little hiatus last week from doing a podcast. I've had a lot of support for the podcast, and I really appreciate that. So I really wanted to talk to you today about something that I think is vital to our success as voiceover artists, and I know for me, it really was vital to my success and continues to be. And that is the questions we ask. All right, that's what it is. If you ask the right questions, you will succeed. If you ask the wrong questions, you will fail miserably. Change your questions, change your destiny. You like that? That was like a mic drop. All right, let's do it. This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica. All right, so we are going to be talking about questions. And, I think the first thing, of course, logically that comes to my mind is, Anthony, what does questions have to do with anything? Why would questions determine my success? And why are we even talking about this? And I think, again, if you look at the whole point to this, that's a question, right? That's a question. And if we frame this discussion around using that question as an example, the question is, why should we even be discussing questions? Okay, maybe that's the question here. But then if I turn that around and say, how can this question help what I'm trying to do? How is talking about this helping what I'm trying to accomplish? How can this help what I'm trying to accomplish? See, the little bit of change there in the question determines what direction you take when searching for the solution. And this is vital. I mean, this is key to everything. All right. So let's go ahead and add some better context or better questions to the question fire here. Okay. So let's say that, perfect example. You wake up, you get some coffee, go to your booth or go to your full-time job, come home, turn on everything, look, and you're like, I have no business. Okay. It happens to all of us. And you look at your screen, you look at your email, you look at your websites that you're on, all the things. You're like, why can't I get work? All right. Now, this question, why can't I get work? This is important for us to dissect because this question triggers in us always a dialogue, right? A dialogue with ourselves. It triggers in our mind a point of action. So when we ask ourselves a question, okay, our brain works to solve it. Okay, it works to solve it. However, our brain does not distinguish between what is, positive in our, positive moving forward from just moving forward. So our brain doesn't make the assumption that, answering the question a certain way matters. It just tries to answer the question. All right. I hope that makes sense. If when you ask this question, why can't I get work? Well, your brain starts to come up with all of the reasons why you're not getting work. Now, if you stop and think about that, that means that all of the energy, all of the brain power you have is going into figuring out why you are not being successful, why you are not getting work. All of these negative things, your brain is spending all of its power trying to bring up, focusing on, analyzing. Okay, your brain, we are telling our brain to look at those things. And because we're telling our brain to look at those things, it's only focusing on the negative. It's trying to come up with all of the reasons why you're not succeeding. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my brain focusing on that. I don't want to be focusing on all the reasons why I'm not succeeding, because if I spend all my energy focusing on the reasons I'm not succeeding, there's going to be no energy focusing on how to succeed or what I need to do to succeed. See, it's an interesting difference because it's just a switch. It's just a little change in a few words, but the change in our minds is massive, and it changes how we spend the focused energy of our incredible brains, our incredible computers that are in our head, right? So instead of us focusing on why we're not getting business, if you switch that around and say, how can I get more business? All of a sudden, all of the things that you would be saying about why am I not getting business, like maybe I'm not good at voiceover, maybe I suck, I'm not good at audiobooks, I don't know how to audition well, I don't know how to, or I'm not good at marketing, I'm not, I'm not doing this well, I'm not doing that well. Do you notice how that question, the question, why am I not getting more business, spawns all of these other statements and ideas about how negative my actions, my abilities, how bad it all is. None of them come up with positive actions to take to move forward. See, that question does not inspire action. In fact, it inspires the opposite. It inspires you to not take action because you are afraid that everything you are doing is wrong because of the question you asked. Now, again, switching that question to how can I get more business? In what ways can I get more business? So let's dissect that. How can I get more business? If you look at that question, how can I get more business? Your brain will start to work in your favor because, again, when you ask a question, your brain is programmed to come up with a solution. I'm serious. Any question, your brain is programmed to come up with a solution. Now, when you ask the right questions, like how can I get more work, your brain will come up with a solution. And in my brain, I'll say how I come up with more work. Well, then things start popping into my mind, like putting myself on more websites, making more samples, sending out emails, calling businesses, making new demos and posting them to different sites, building my website, working on LinkedIn and connecting with people. I hope you see the massive difference between asking a negative question, why can't I get business, and asking a positive question or an action-oriented question like, how can I get more business? I mean, it's such a small change, but the massive change in your mind is incredible. Now, I want you to think about this in all aspects of your business, and you can actually use this into your life, right? Like, why does my relationship suck? Well, if you, think about it. I mean, if you ask yourself that question, your brain is going to focus on all of the negative things, and they're going to list them for you because that's what you're asking. You're not asking for a solution. And that's the whole idea. You have to ask for solutions. So instead of why does my relationship suck, all right? Why am I always failing at relationships? Okay. Why does my wife or my husband hate me so much? I still say that. Hopefully that's not true, but we've all been there from time to time. But instead of asking that question, We should ask the question, how can I be better at my relationship? How can I be better at making my spouse happy? What can I do to make my spouse happy? And we're just talking about relationships here. What can I do to make my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my mother, father, my son and daughter, my sister, my brother, what can I do to make them more happy? There's such a difference, my friends. There's such a difference with the way we phrase a question. And because of that, it literally alters our brain chemistry in figuring out what way to answer it. Now, I do want to talk about trust. And it is hard sometimes to trust ourselves, right? Especially if you have a track record of failure. And I want to talk about this because I had so many failures, right? Or not successes, in the sense that, before I started this business, as you all know, I was a teacher for all my life, and I did theater and coaching and acting and stuff. But I tried a variety on the side, many other businesses. At one point, and I've talked about this in the podcast before, at one point I owned a restaurant. At one point I worked in banking. At one point I was an armed security guard. Like, what's up with that? Like, I did all sorts of things. I tried a bunch of side hustles. I was in Amway. I don't know if you remember Amway, but they had started a new branch because Amway was under so much scrutiny. It was called what was it called? Well, anyways, I was a part. I did Amway for a while. I tried to do websites where, you get these, you buy these websites, you know what I mean? And people go there and click on ads. I tried that many years ago, 10, 15 years ago. I tried dabbling in the stock market. I tried day trading, Forex trading. I've tried so many things, right? I mean, I've tried so many things and I've not been successful at them. Okay. And, I think the funny thing is that after a while, it's not funny, it's sad, right? But after a while, you really do feel defeated. You can feel like you will not succeed again, right? It's hard. I mean, it's hard. It feels like, well, maybe I can't succeed, or why can't I? Again, these questions of doubt, of frustration, they creep in. And it can really drag you down. But see, here's the thing. The thing is that all of this is simply a representation also of where you are right now. All right? And it's important to note that you've got to keep pushing forward. You are not a failure. Just because of all of those things that happened to you in the past doesn't mean that's what's going to happen to you now. You have to change your questions. Why didn't I succeed in my restaurant? Well, that's such a negative question. Okay? Now, I can look back because it's in the past and I can list reasons why, as opposed to me saying, how could I have succeeded? Okay, then I think of different things I could have done as opposed to things that I did. And that's what I'm trying to talk to you about right now. All right. The questions you ask determine what you are going to do or what you have done. There's that saying, don't live in the past. Oh, I really do believe that is so important, because living in the past doesn't do any good for the future. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to say don't think about the past, don't learn from the past. Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is living in the past about what you have previously done does not help you move forward to take action. So the questions you ask need to be, how do I move forward? What can I do to move forward? These are action questions. What is possible? What could happen if I did this, right? How can I do this, right? The question shouldn't be, why am I broke or I can't afford something? The question should be, how can I afford it, right? How can I make more money? Not why can't I make any money? How can I make more money? Do you see I hope this is really getting through to you, because this changed my entire life about the questions I was asking. Why wasn't I selling more? To how can I sell more? And then the idea that I was trying to get through all this was you have to trust yourself. You've got to trust yourself. A lot of times we don't trust ourselves. And what I was saying with that story, a little backstory about me, is when you try things for a period of time and you're not successful with them as much as you'd like to be, you begin to not trust yourself anymore. You begin to feel like you can't make it, like you're not going to be successful. So because of that, you don't trust yourself and your gut. But I can tell you, trusting your gut is everything. So when your mind tells you, hey, listen, you say, how can I make more money? And your mind tells you, you know what? The first thing that pops into your mind is tell you, send out 100 emails. Well, your brain just came up with a solution. Trust it. Do it. Send out 100 emails. All right? Like, do you see, like, your brain says, you put up more samples. You haven't put up those samples yet. Put up more samples on Fiverr. Put up more samples on voices.com. Put up more samples on People Per Hour. Send out more proposals on Upwork. Make some more phone calls. Connect with some people on LinkedIn. Send some messages through Instagram. Right? Like, make some contacts. Like, these things that your brain comes up with, you have to trust them and you have to have the courage to go after them. But before any of that is possible, you have to ask the right question. Asking the right question is everything. Listen, I hope that this session, I hope that this podcast has helped. And I really want you to think about this, right? And again, ask yourself the question, how can I ask better questions? What better questions can I ask to move my business forward? See, that's a great question, right? Not, why am I not asking the right questions? Like, don't let habits drag you down. Switch the inner monologue. Okay, switch it. Switch it to action-oriented questions, not, stalemate questions, not questions that bring up the past and why things happened, right? Bring up, how can I move forward? And if you do that, and then you trust yourself and your brain, because your brain is amazing. It literally, guys, listen, it literally will come up with every answer you ever need to be successful in your life. It really will. The difference is are you asking the right questions? And when you do and your brain comes up with the answers, do you actually do them? Or do you just ignore it? You first have to ask the right questions, hands down. And when you start asking the right questions, you have to trust yourself enough to go for it, because your brain will come up with answers. Answers are not the problem. All right. And you might say, I literally don't know how to do this. How can I find out more information? Do you see what I mean? It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're just starting in this. Like, how can I find out what microphone to get? Where can I learn more about microphones? Right? Where do I purchase microphones? Who can help me learn about microphones? Where can I learn about treating my space? How much treatment should I buy? Like, all of these questions, they spawn action. All right. Not, why does my stuff sound so awful? Or why does my room sound like an echo chamber? Why does my microphone suck? Those questions don't help at all. They don't help you move forward. Ask questions that spawn action. How can I move forward? What can I do to get better? What can I do to learn? All right. These questions will change your life and the direction of your business. All right, you guys, I hope this helped. I know this changed my life, and I hope it helps you with yours. Ask the right questions, change your destiny. All right, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Peace.